everybody. Welcome. We are here live today with Echo Pelster, such a good friend and such a person who's so inspiring. Echo's been with us once before, and she has such a diverse background. We were talking just before this. She's actually also a financial consultant, but she's an author, a lifestyle coach. She's a speaker. She's a bariatric surgery patient herself. And so she speaks from personal experience, and she's going to be teaching us today. The topic is, are your treats mistreating you? And what we want to kind of get into is we make choices every single time we eat. And so our choices are always working for us, or maybe they're always working for us, whether we realize it or not. She's going to get more into that. So whether it's leading us to our goals or away from our goals, consciously or unconsciously. And so let's bring our awareness to our habits today and bring them to a higher level of understanding so that you can be and do more of what you're wanting to do. I'm going to help break free of some limitations. So Echo, I'm going to go ahead and turn the stage over to you and let you do a lot better description. I'm sure you could tell them a lot more about yourself, about your journey, and what you're going to be talking about. In the meantime, I'm going to go do some setting changes. I'm going to put myself on mute and do some setting changes on Facebook because we're live there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me, Brenda. I always love coming on your show, just because you are a great friend, but I follow you all the time. I love all the new information you're getting out there and how you can help bariatric patients. And to give you guys a little bit of my background, I was a bariatric patient twice. The first time I had the gastric banding and I lost 60 pounds, only to go on over that next 17 years to gain clear up to 358 pounds. And I've actually yo-yo dieted myself to the tune of about 777 pounds. So the bariatric surgery is not the silver bullet, but it's a magical tool that will literally help you lose your weight and keep it off forever. But there's a lot of emotional acceptance that needs to happen for you in the process, because I learned how to cheat myself out of the success of the bariatric surgery. And so I really don't want that to happen to you. So if you're waiting for your surgery and you have this expectation that if your stomach's not there, you can't be fat anymore, that's who I was. I thought, they're going to take my stomach out. I can't do this anymore. I won't do this to myself anymore. And the truth of the matter was, I didn't know how many calories I could really get in there to emotionally feed myself when I didn't have a stomach. And so my books are not about food, because I know you know what food to eat. There's multiple sources out there of what food should we be eating in life today. My books are about how do we get out of that mindset and how do we turn it around when it's all going badly, or when we have an experience. And one of my mentalities used to be, oh, I blew it. I ate a piece of cake, and so I'd eat the whole cake. No sense at all. And so I really am here to talk about how do we stop our treats from mistreating us today. And so I'm going to make an effort to share my slides here. And I do have to go get them again, Brenda.
Hey, that's good. While she's doing that, I'm just going to also mention, I want to welcome a lot of different groups of people here. We have people from our Berry Nation crew. We have people from ProCare community. We have people from Bridge community, from Dr. Ahaja's group. We also have some from the weight loss community at Chi Health. And there's lots more. Let me know if there's people that are joining. Let us know where you're joining from and how you found out about us. I'd love to know more. And it looks like I've said hi to a lot of people. I also want to say hi to Demita because it looks like Demita is joining on Facebook. Please use the chat feature. Let us know where you're from too as well. We welcome everybody with open arms. Let us know if this is your first time or if you're repeater. So looks like she's got it pulled up. So we're going to kind of move forward. If you are, I want to also say, if you are from Chi Health Manual, I do a lot of tracking with their attendance. It's for attendance for support groups so that they can have their bariatric surgeries. Go to the ask a question feature, put your name if you'd like, or if you put it in the comment section, I'll just be taking notes. So, okay.
Awesome. As I said, I am the author of The Twisted Love of Food Addiction, and we do have a relationship with everything we do, including food. And one of my things that I really learned was, how do my choices treat me or mistreat me? And either way, they're working for me or against me. And I had to be willing to really face that. And so I wanted to go and, oh, there we go. And so one of the projects that I do is I do a 200-day weight loss and release challenge for bariatric patients. And our next one will be starting September 1st of this year, just so you're aware of that. And you can find that on my website, and Brenda will be sharing that link with you in a little while. So today we're going to talk about stopping outrageous thinking. And I don't know about your mind, but my mind used to think about food all the time, but it still thinks about food some of the time. And it doesn't always think about food the way I want it to. Often it thinks about food the way it wants to. And so what I had to learn was how to turn off the brain that turns on me. So how many of you feel like your brain turns on you? My brain absolutely would not shut off. And it was always fear and anxiety that got my brain going. But I was like, what am I afraid of? And I didn't always know. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to learn how to have awareness and identify some of those triggers that send you like into that thumbs up mood. My brain's against me. Because I woke up a lot of times after I'd eaten something I didn't want to, or maybe I'd even cooked a whole something I didn't want to and eaten the whole thing. And I was like, my brain's out of order. Why do I do that? Well, the reason I did that was because I had been a binge eater for so many years that when I got anxious or afraid or hurt, often I would just jump in there and I would go into what my brain knew best. And it's hard to change our brain. Our brain will always go easily back to where it's been. But until we repeatedly change it over and over and over again, our brain will go and try to revert. So I challenge you to go and look into this with yourself. Because what I learned was, why didn't I do the opposite before it happened? And I didn't know the answer to that for a long time. So when we change our habits, it used to be believed that changing our habits was good for 21 days, but now it's more like 69 days they're discovering. So I would challenge you, when you start a new habit, to put it on the calendar and track it every single day for 100 days. And how do you do that? Because if you're like me, you might make it 5 days and then you'll have a goof up and then you'll be back on day one. And that can get really, really discouraging. So here's how we're going to work on this. I don't know about you, but my mouth wants a donut and my mind wants to be thin. And every single time something's going on, the answer is never in the fridge. It's never in the cabinet. But my mouth wants it and my mind wants something else. And as long as we're in conflict with one another, we cannot have what we want. So how many of you can identify with that? We just came out of Easter. How many of you had Easter candy? I did.
I think a lot of people can relate to what you're saying here. Let me see here. We got some more messages. We got a thumbs up. Cynthia says nope. I don't know if that means she doesn't have candy.
Maybe
Sandra
she
said I
got through
didn't.
without having
Yes.
any. I didn't have any candy. I made a decision to have a marshmallow, but it wasn't unconsciously. It was a conscious decision. But the rule was I was going to have one and it had to be a Russell Stover. And so it was a conscious decision. What's really important here is the consciousness of it, because I used to eat everything unconsciously. I would run to the binge in comfort when in reality, it wasn't comforting at all, because it just created this guilt that was horrible. And so consciousness is so important here. I'm trying to figure out why my slide's not moving. Oh, there we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about our brain. And our brain responds to some things that we learned basically in kindergarten. See, touch, smell, taste, and what we hear. And so imagine you're in your living room tonight, you're watching a movie, and this commercial comes on, and you instantly see this food. And for me, that could, back in the day, create cravings for me. So just seeing it was a deception of my brain, because my brain thought if I saw it, I should eat it. Because someone else told me I should, not because I was feeling hungry in my body, but because someone else told me I should eat that. And have you ever been driving down the road and on Spotify, all of a sudden you hear this commercial that sounds something like this? I love it. It's absolutely orgasmic. And it's like vanilla cheesecake. So our senses, our five senses, are very, very deceptive. And so I don't trust my senses. I trust myself. And the way I do that is, when was the last time I ate? And am I really hungry? And what my head wants and what my body wants is two different things. And so I'm sure to ask today. Because in my head, I have this idea that I'm going to eat something that at the end of the day, in reality, it's like, oh, I don't even want that. I really want a salad with apple on it. I want that crunchy sweet taste. So I want to pay attention to that. But what got in my way was my pride. And this old orangutan is pretty much a good stance of how I would go and sit, because I let some things get in my way. And one of the things I let get in my way was boredom. I cannot encourage you enough to have a calendar and to have a plan for your day every single day. Now, don't be so busy you forget to plan, because no planning can upset the wheel cart also. And I don't know about you, but when my eating's going well, my relationships are going well. Or when my relationships are going well, my eating's going well. But there is a study out there done by UCLA about relationships and eating. And one of the things they said, that when people are mind conscious of their health and eating, they tend to see that overflow everywhere else in their life. So if you have children concerns or parent concerns, relationship concerns, you don't know what to do with your time, or you're too busy with your time, If you're on track with your health, a lot of times all the other areas fall into place. I don't know about you, but that is so interesting to me. And so I've been tracking that since I read that on UCLA. And by the way, UCLA's done about 35 great studies. And one of their studies that's worth reading for all of us is natural foods have never caused anyone to gain weight ever. In fact, 2 pounds difference in people who did this diet or that diet versus natural foods. So if you want to have freedom of carbs, you might want to look at that. And then another thing that we want to think about is our language that we use on ourselves. The secrets we're keeping. What on earth would happen if the world knows that I was an unwed mother? What would happen if someone in the world knew I was divorced? I used to keep those things secret because I was afraid of what you'd think. And today, I don't feel that way at all. And why do I think I'm so different than everyone else? And so, one of the things I would encourage you to do is when you're having those thoughts, is it real or is it really unreal? What am I pretending not to know? And if it is real, how can I fix it? Well, it was real. It was a handicap to me all the time because I was telling myself lies. See, I would pretend that I never ate sugar and I never ate junk food, but I was still 358 pounds. So obviously it was showing up, but I had such a distorted image of myself that when I looked in the mirror, I wasn't seeing it and I thought you couldn't either. The truth of it was, I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating right. I was eating a lot of candy bars and Little Debbie's and things, and I was lying and I was keeping it a secret because I didn't want you to know that I was out of control. So I wasn't controlling my food. My food was controlling me. And then one day, a cloud burst, and I realized because someone had taken a picture of me, what my body really looked like. And I don't even know why I saw this picture because it wasn't a picture that I took. But I saw myself in that picture so much differently, and I knew that I had to do something different. But my treats were mistreating me. And every treatment I was giving myself was mistreating me. So can you think of something that you do that mistreats you? One of mine was lying to myself. I lied to myself. No one was taking away my success but myself. And when I really realized that, I realized I had to be willing to make some changes. So what did I do? First, I went to the cookbook. Now, there's some food pornography for you. You can get so many ideas about what to cook, but no ideas at all about what to eat because they want everything in that cookbook. So I had to find out what food was to me. How many of you can go and identify that? Could I get a thumbs up? What is food to you? Well, for me, it turned out if it has a chemical in it or I can't pronounce it, it's not food to me anymore. My food comes in natural wrappers. It fuels my body and it feeds me when I'm hungry. I love that. Cynthia said fuel. I love that because when I'm starting to feel on empty, I need to fuel up. But what I fuel up with is a whole lot different today than what I did before. And by the way, back in those days when I was eating all those candy bars and Little Debbie's, when I sat down to a meal with you, I ate like a normal person. It was what I ate in secret that was a big deal. And so being honest with yourself first is the first step. And I thought if I told other people that I would be ruined, that no one would read my books, that no one would do this or that. Not at all. That hasn't been true at all. In fact, we just had a review from a lady in Lithuania that read our book, and she was like, I met her in Las Vegas, a beautiful model, 6 foot tall. And she's like, I don't think I want to read your book. And I said, well, just take it. It's my gift to you. And she took it home. She read it in Lithuania. And she called me about 3 months later. And she said to me, oh my gosh, the answer is not in the fridge, is the answer for me. Because see, even if you're thin, you can still have food issues. It's not dictated to the thick or the thin. It's all of us. I love ingredients, 5 ingredients or less on the label also. And I really like it if sugar's not one of those ingredients. Because to me, sugar's not real food anymore. But one idea that you spark here today could be your breakthrough explosion to forever health and forever talking health for yourself. Homegrown, another great one. We do about a 2.5 acre garden at our house. And so we really believe in homegrown. So to end today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about a 4-week mastermind that we're going to start. It's going to be on Sunday afternoons at 4 o'clock Central Time. It's only going to be $299 and it's limited to 10 people. And Brenda's got a live link for you on that. It's going to start on Sunday, April 16th. So you'll want to get signed up right away. But what we're going to really work on in this program is learning to trust yourself and finding out what your food is for you. Because what's food to me and what's food to Brenda or what's food to Laura or Cassandra, it's all going to be different and it's all correct. But finding those guidelines and then realizing the things like, let me give you a hint. I always get this question, well, what do I do on special occasions? Well, if it's not food to you any other day, why would it be on a special occasion? So we really change your thinking about how you think about food. We create a safe learning environment so you can interact and trust others and learn to overcome your challenging situations, especially with the other people that want to feed you in your life or just think you're ridiculous because of how you want to eat. We want you to be in control of your food, not other people and not someone else. And then an opportunity to experience through other people's experiences. And of course, when you sign up for this, I'm going to give you a copy of both of our I'm going to autograph both of our books, the book on transformation and the twisted love of food addiction. And so that's what I have. I think we have time for Q&A. So Brenda will look at those and we'll see what we can do. And I'm going to.
We lost Echo for just a moment. She'll be right back, guys. I am looking, Cassandra's talking about her country living. I love that. Echo, sorry, we lost you there for a second. You're back.
I was going to try to stop sharing, but maybe you'll have to do that for me.
Yeah, no problem at all. So let's see here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring you over so that your big screen is your mastermind class that you're offering. And Echo, I put in the chat box, I'm going to move it over to Facebook here just a second. Your small group mastermind, the link is your website. I'm hoping that I got the correct link there. Is that correct? You can see it?
It is not. Let me go to...
Okay,
And if you cannot find the link, please just reach back out or send me a message on my regular website. Just go and to Echo Pelster Speaks and put in a comment. But I'm going to go in there and I will put that link as Pro Health Special Mastermind. So you guys will know that's the one for you. I should have done that before we did this today, but I will go do that.
Okay, and I'm going to add this to Facebook here. I'm doing that while we're talking too as well. So what will they get if they're doing this class, Echo?
Well, one of the things that we really work on in the class is unique and troubling situations. Because one of the things that we've really discovered is when we drill down to the why. Like, let me give you, for instance, the other day I was working with one of our coaching clients, and my question, she was like, I just can't deal with this person. I don't know why. And I said, okay, tell me, when was the first time you ever felt like she makes you feel? And she goes, oh my gosh, I was like 9 years old, and there was a girl that told me I was fat in school, and I believed her. And I said, what about this lady reminds you of that? And she's like, this isn't even real anymore. And I said, well, why is it not real? Because I realized I was transferring how she makes me feel to how I felt in that situation. And it was like this light bulb came on. And I said, now I want you to go and get a picture of yourself at that moment, at that year, that grade of school. And she went and got a picture when she was in 3rd grade. And we looked at it, and what she realized was she wasn't fat at all. She didn't know she wasn't because she'd been told she was all of those years. So we really challenge our limiting beliefs and why we believe them in this course. We'll actually have homework where we bring pictures.
Echo, you have a good point here. I think actually me and my daughter was talking the other day about I guess you want to call it body dysmorphia, but people, no matter what their size, a lot of times will have these thoughts in their head that they're overweight or that they're the wrong size or that, you know, that they're not happy with the way their body looks. And it's almost kind of sad in some ways because that person, I had a friend that I worked with at one time that was very small, and she felt that way. And I have other people I know who they don't necessarily have a weight problem, but they have that in their mind. So it's about kind of changing your perception too of yourself, I think. And I think Heather's saying I have the same issue. I don't know if that's what she's talking about, but yeah, the perception of everything. And I'm kind of been looking down here. I apologize. I'm looking on our Facebook page. We have I'm looking over here to see if we got any comments. So,
well, anyways. And let me give you, for instance, when I was about 9 to 10 years old, my mom told me I couldn't have a birthday cake because I was too fat. Well, I was a fat slob to me because she said it. 30 years later, I find this picture of me when I'm 9 years old. I wasn't fat at all. I didn't even have a little muffin top. I didn't have anything. But because someone else told me that and I was very impressionable, I believed it. So when I start working toward undoing past beliefs, I'm doing it based on what we can find fact of. And when we start unraveling that, there is so much freedom in that. I love this. My mom was the root of all my issues. Well, I think that might have been true when I was young, but I have to blame myself a little bit today because I've been out of her house for 40 years, 50, maybe.
Well,
And
and there's echo with you saying that. I just want to kind of add to, I think there's such freedom. It's there's a good freedom in knowing maybe where the root issues come from, like where they may have started. But once we take responsibility, like you said, taking responsibility of where we are now and like losing, like regardless of who has been involved in different situations, but taking like really responsibility of everything. There's true freedom in that because we can change that then. A lot of it's based on beliefs and a lot of it's based on other things, but we can change. Maybe our parents told us and are influenced us on something, but we have the ability to change that thought process and to change that.
well, and I agree 100%. I remember having a lot of anger at my mom. And I also remember we weren't allowed to have candy or sugar in the house. So at our house, there was none of those things. And when we went to my grandma's house, there was everything. And so it was the all or nothing thinking. And that one was a really hard one to break because we've heard the word a lot about moderation through the bariatric community. And I didn't really know what moderation was for a really long time. I didn't know about how conscious things had to become for me. And to the point that still today, I'll jot down what I'm eating every day. Just because if I am feeling hungry, I can look and say, well, did I eat and what did I eat? Or I can look and say, oh, I haven't written anything down. I haven't eaten. But it's really easy, especially with our phones now in the notes section, because you can just dictate whatever you're eating and let it be in the phone section and delete it out in the evening. You don't even have to waste a tree or paper. But there's so many ways we can do that, or snapshot our food with our camera. And so we can look back at it if you don't have time to write it all down. But it's just a way to really keep track of what's going in because we're always using energy. Everything we do is energy. And so one of the things that I've really learned to do is just really pay attention to that. I said it's taken me 5 years to get her words out of my head and my heart. Well, Heather, if you have gotten her words out of your head, good for you in only 5 years, because I think it took me 40. 2 gastric bypasses and 777 pounds, not to mention 40 yo-yo diets in between there where I lost, 50 to 70 pounds at a time only to put it back on. A few diet pills and a lot of emotional self-crushing. And today, I actually do 30 minutes in the mirror every day on purpose. I actually look at my body and tell it I like it. And I also tell it that it's a powerful thing that no matter what I put into it, it has the power to metabolize. And so I'm talking to myself all the time.
You know what? That in that on that event, I'm bringing off your event, your
Slides.
mastermind class. Yeah, we can always bring it up back up here in a moment. But I also want to share some before and after pictures. Echo, is that okay
Sure.
with you? Echo had shared with me our last class, and I saved those back. And I'm going to share that here. I'm going to have to probably share my full screen, so bear with me. Okay. Oops, it's taking me just a second. Okay. Okay. I'll bring this bigger so that you guys can see it here. Here's one of them. I don't know if you want to talk about that echo. I got a couple more.
One of the things in this picture, especially the picture on the left, that woman really wanted to be thin. She really did, but she didn't have a clue. And one of the things that I had to learn was I had to stop being a thick person in my actions to be thin. And so the person on the right had learned to do what she thought at that point thin people do to be thin. Moving, eating food without wrappers, eating whole foods. Those were all things that had done. But I was so overwhelmed with how I looked, and I was so ashamed of how I looked that I couldn't get that out of my head so I could have a different vision. And one day I was out as a heavy person, and I had congestive heart failure at age 37. And so my body was really feeling the weight. And I was out and I had been ill and I was trying to walk like a block at a time. And I'd been out at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that day as a 358-pound person. I decided to have another bariatric surgery. And I was asking myself, are you crazy? But all of a sudden I saw my shadow. And my shadow was the perfect essence of who I could be. And just seeing my shadow, I realized that I had a choice right there. And so I did follow through and I had the surgery. As you read my book, after the second surgery, I did gain back 114 pounds. And I discovered there isn't an easier, softer way. And I came back and lost that. And today I'm at my normal weight through just self-care.
I'm gonna put is this another book here? You know what? Before I go back and we'll talk about that, let me go ahead and show the rest of your pictures. So here's another picture.
Yep, that's just me in my office. Just kind of today's weight, nothing too different.
Pretty awesome. And then here is another just photo of you. Is this your mom?
My grandma. And my grandma never got to see me thin. She always told me how pretty I would be if I was. And I always thought I wasn't enough because I wasn't. But she was my feeder. She was really my guiding light. I got a lot of my courage and my teaching ability from her. She was a teacher. But grandma was the girl that when I skinned my knee, she gave me a cookie, and I didn't know to make myself feel better, I needed to put the cookie on my knee. I put it in my mouth. And so I was fed to feel better as a child, and I didn't really realize that for a long time. There's me and my husband when we were married. So he's truly loved me through thick and thin. I can honestly say that. The year we were married, I gained 100 pounds. So in this picture, I was about 289 pounds. And I just really gained after we were married. And I think it was just really the stress of being married and feeling like I had to rely on someone. And so that was a big challenging year for me, but we've been married 26 years now, and it all worked out.
It's awesome. You know what? When somebody loves you, they love you regardless. Here's another picture of you and your grandma, I believe.
Yep, that's me and my grandma. As I was quite heavy there, probably 300 pounds.
And then we have here, you and maybe a friend?
Yep, me and one of my employees, Andrea, and we were in Las Vegas there, and I was just a normal size 12 again there.
And we have one more, and then we'll look at your book here.
Yep, that's me and Vern about 3 years after we were married, after I had the second gastric bypass.
Gotcha. And then here's the last one. So, oops. Sorry, I go. It's kind of a small picture, so I'm going to make it bigger here.
Yeah, this is the book on transformation, and Jack Canfield, the Chicken Soup for the Soul guy, did the forward in this book. There's 30 authors in this book, and they're all women. My story in this book is about my weight loss journey. But this is an interesting book and a really valuable book because it has so many stories of women, whether you have something financial to overcome, if you've been in an abusive relationship or a battered marriage, there's women in there that's overcome that. And every single transformation in this book is a solution to something that's already happened to someone else that you can learn from.
I'm going to start sharing for a second here. I feel like that when you read other people's messages and you see those stories, it gives you hope that you can do something. Because sometimes other people doing it gives us permission. It kind of gives us the kind of like a way shower. You show the way of seeing that. So reading or hearing about that can be really enlightening. Thank you for that.
Right.
There
I
is
love
some
saying permission granted. People say, "Can I do that?" And I'm like, "Permission granted. Why can you not do that for yourself? Why do you think you can't do that for yourself? And what if we try? And what if we figure out the how?"
We have some comments too here. Linda says, "Is it better to eat small meals or three big meals? My mom cooked 3 meals a day and we ate snacks in between. Hard habit to break as an adult." And she said, "Congratulations, you look great." I think she's looking to see what you do. And Echo said, "You're a beautiful soul inside and out."
Oh, well, thank you. You know what? I believe that you should eat when you're hungry. And I don't believe in you got to stop eating by 6 o'clock at night. I don't believe you got to start eating by 6 in the morning. I believe that when your body is hungry, your body has to learn to know that you're going to fuel it. And when it knows it can trust you to fuel it in a timely manner, when you truly feel hunger, your body is going to respond so much differently. And so hunger's the answer. And when I finally realized that hunger was the answer, I literally did not eat until I felt hunger because I was a binger, and it took 5.5 days. I didn't go and not consume water, but I did wait to feel hunger. And then I waited another hour past that just to make sure it was real. And today I recognize true hunger very easily. In fact, I'm starting to feel a little hungry right now.
So let me repeat that to what you said. So what you're saying is what you tried doing for a while, and I don't know if you still do this, but when you felt the need for something coming on, you would wait, wait an hour and see if you were still feeling that way. If you were, you would eat. Is that what you're
That's what I
saying?
did, yes. And even today, I wait till I'm hungry to eat. But I don't eat on a schedule. Like, I might have lunch at 3 in the afternoon because that's when I'm hungry. I might have dinner at 8 o'clock at night because that's when I'm hungry. I might not have breakfast till 10. It just depends. Now, this morning I woke up hungry, and so I had breakfast about 7.
Because every day is different. Sometimes we eat late at night and then we're not hungry in the morning. Or I think sometimes too, we feel like we should eat because it's a certain time. And I know a lot of us probably gotten in that habit. I have. Cassandra said, "What is the recommendation for meals and eating when you take a medication that does not give you much of an appetite?" What would you say for that?
I think your body still is going to need nourishment because if you're never nourishing your body, then your metabolism's just going to shut down. However, if something's suppressing your appetite and you need that medication, you need to have that. But I think even with that, you're probably getting some hunger signals. My question is, are you recognizing them? And so you might want to pay attention to that. The other thing is, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I think I'm hungry when I really need a drink of water. And so measure that. Am I hungry or am I really thirsty? And I drink water probably 2 gallons a day.
Nancy says, yep. I want to say too, it's when you're talking about being hungry and that type of thing, there's a good way too to do that is just to scale it on a scale of 1 to 10. 0 being not hungry at all, and 10 being I am the most hungry I've ever been. And sometimes you can judge how much you need based on that too as well. Like I just got back. I went and had lunch with my sisters here just for lunch here a little bit ago, and if we were to do that every time before we ate, it would help us so much just being able to know like what we need. Sometimes we might just need a handful of nuts. I mean, I'm just giving an example. Maybe sometimes we need a full meal. So it is helpful to ask yourself, are you hungry? What kind of hunger are you having? Is it more head hunger? Is it cravings? Is it actual physical hunger that you need to eat something? That's a great point. And there's a comment. Do you want to read it? Echo, can you see it?
Well, if you're taking in a lot of water, now I have a question to that person who's taking in a lot of water and they have an ADHD med. Some of those can really go and create that dehydration. Are they post-surgery or pre-surgery, Cassandra? Pre-surgery. Wow, that can be a lot of things going on there. But if you're hungry and you're drinking a lot, I would say you are hungry. And Linda says mine's more bored hungry. And boredom, you got to find something to do. Even if you physically can't mobilize yet because you're too heavy still. And I was there, but I learned to crochet. I learned to knit. I don't do it anymore. I discovered I didn't want to spend my life doing that, but I had to find something to find my hands busy because I wanted to go and put food in my mouth. And so finding something to do now with all the computer jobs and things that are truly available might be really helpful for you if you're not working. And if you are working, can you take on more hours? But if you're having hunger with your medication, I think that's an issue for your doctor, and see if they can help you regulate that. Maybe there's something else you could take instead. Because there are a lot of drugs out there and antidepressants also that I've read about that really create hunger for people and weight gain. I don't know if you guys know this, but exercise is an actual antidepressant. I've read that several places.
Okay, see here. I am going to Echo. I'm going to be sharing just in kind of. Do you have anything that you'd like to say to kind of pull all this together? I'm going to share your site once more, and then I'm going to kind of close things up with a little promo here. So,
Yes,
do you have
I'm
some
excited
closing
about
thoughts?
Well, I just want to thank everyone for coming. And if I opened a new idea for you, a direction that you can go going into this summer season and just make a change for yourself, I'm excited for you because it's the little things that happen on a day-to-day basis that's going to change your life. We can't do it all at once, but if we can change one habit and stick to that habit and then add another one, we are going to go and you're going to blast it. You're going to blast it and you're going to have the lifestyle change and you're going to keep the weight off. So thank you. Thank you, Brenda, for having me again.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I think people can relate so well to you, and they can understand because you've been there. Sometimes you can't ever help someone else truly. Sometimes I think unless you totally understand what they're going through. When you understand and you've been there, you have a whole nother insight into the situation.
Well, and I used
So
to tell myself I can't lose weight. And you know what? The truth was I wouldn't. And that was a hard reality. That took my pride down considerably. But when I would say I can't drink water, well, the truth was I wouldn't drink water. But when I set water on my desk and I didn't give myself another option, I found out I really loved water.
love that. Some hopefully some of this may speak to some of you. And Heather, I just noticed I'll that too for you here. So okay, I'm going to share my screen and go to Echo's um, her promotion one more time. And here we go. Oops. Here we go. So basically, when you click on to that link, it's going to bring you to here, and it kind of explains Echo's her master class that she has coming up. So she has actually several different
Rolling down.
ones.
Yeah,
Several
keep
different
rolling
ones.
down.
Keep
I'm
going.
looking for it. Yeah, I'm looking for it. I'm not seeing it on the page there. I'm not seeing it on the page. I thought it was up, but apparently it's not. But I'll make sure it's up right after this. So
Okay, great. We also have some of our other products here, so you can take a look at other things
oh,
that
it's
she
the
has
one on
as
the
well.
right. It's the mastermind group on the right.
This one right here.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, and you had promoted that initially for like $3.99. Is that the price or is it $5.99?
Nope, we're gonna let them have it for $2.99 from this class, and I'm gonna open that registration as soon as we get off here, and it'll be open through Saturday evening at that price for anyone on this. So if someone's watching the replay, they'll be able to get it.
Oh, thank you, Echo. Is there a code that they put in for that?
Nope, we're gonna go in and set the price for them.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Well, there you have it, guys. I'm also going to share, we've been doing at the end of these a little promotion for our sponsor, ProCare, yes. And so what we have here, I'm going to share my screen here one more time. And I'm going to see a picture pop up in just a moment. Okay. So how many of you guys know about ProCare Health? Like, how many of you have ever tried their products? And people sometimes ask, what is our best-selling product? ProCare's best-selling product. So I'm going to click on, and it is our once daily bariatric multivitamin. The capsules is a little higher than just our chewable. I'm going to show you a picture of what both of those look like. Here. See if you guys can see me in the camera. We have a 30 capsule bottle and a 90. This is the 90, and this one here is chewables. What they look like, I don't actually have any in there. I'm going to have to pull one off one of our probiotic bottles. I know I have a couple of tablets in there. They're basically about like this size. I hope you guys can see me because I can't see myself in the camera. And they come in varying degrees of iron, 45, 18, and iron-free. They're gluten-free, dairy-free. They're easy to swallow. What I found myself doing, I'm going to stop sharing and then go back. Okay. So what I found myself doing with some of my vitamins, I sometimes have a hard time with taking vitamins. And what I found myself doing is making a protein shake and then just taking these capsules apart and emptying it into it. But you can also just swallow it whole. That's one suggestion. The chewables, same. You can crush it if you want, or you can eat it whole like that. Those are like, this comes in fruit punch and citrus. This is citrus flavor, and it's just a one a day, and it has every piece of multivitamins. Your B vitamins, your copper, your zinc, your magnesium, your vitamin, your iron, selenium, all the different things that your body needs. Now, your calcium products typically are generally taken separately. And we have a couple different versions. I'm just going to grab one bag. Most of our calciums we have are soft chews. We do have some other variation, but they're just like little soft squares. And those have 500 IU, vitamin D3, and then 500 calcium. So that's a little positive thing here for ProCare, and I'll share ProCare's link here. Angela's, it looks like there's a couple comments. Linda says, I've been on ProCare products for 2 years. Love the calcium chews and the multivitamins, and the vitamins and multivitamins. Oh, thank you, Linda. It's good to hear. I always love hearing testimonials. And Angela says the chocolate calcium chews are good, but so are the mocktails. The chewables were better than the other brands I tried. But the capsule's the winner. Oh, that's good to hear too. Thank you.
And I love
what she's talking about. Oh, were you gonna say something?
I said I love the liquid B.
Oh, you got to, yeah, that's right. I did send that to you. How are you doing with that?
Those too.
You what?
I love the chocolates too.
These are going out, you guys, very, very shortly. We only have 2 weeks. In May, these will not be available until it gets cool again. So during the summer months and the heat, we do not. These are seasonal. So they're going to be going out really soon. These are calcium, 500 with 500 of vitamin D3 as well. Like little chocolate squares. So, Echo, you've tried a couple different things, haven't you?
I have. I'm actually taking the capsule vitamin and the vitamin B because I'm always low on vitamin B after being through 2 gastric bypasses over 40 years. So my B runs a little low, and my B's actually stayed normal on that. And it's just under your tongue, 20 seconds. It tastes good. I don't have that vitamin taste, so I like it.
Yeah, and B vitamins, the B complex is really known for being good for increasing your energy levels. So I've been taking that pretty religiously for a little while. You just take these dropper, put it under your tongue, you hold it for about 20 seconds, and then you take a second dropper. So it's 2 dropperfuls once a day, and it's B12 complex. It has B1, B6, B3, B2, B5. It's a whole complex of different B vitamins. Angela said they are super hard to open, so you get a little workout before the drink. I agree. That's why I didn't open it. Like you have to. I always use scissors or actually my teeth to open these. I'm not gonna lie. So true. But I think that's everything. We're right on the hour, so we want to tell everybody we truly appreciate your time because time is one of the most valuable things, and we love that you're giving this time to yourself to heal and to be the best version of yourself you can. It always helps to learn from other people who've been through it and been there. It looks like Nancy says, sound decent to take. Yeah, I also usually, you guys, on our ProCare Health website, I'm going to copy the link. On our ProCare Health website, we typically offer free samples. Right now, we are changing websites. We don't have that back up yet. But if you want to check out products, you're welcome to. The free samples will be back up hopefully within a week or 2. It'll be very soon. We just had to put down. We're changing so many things. We have so many exciting things coming up. So that being said, just check out the products. See, maybe you're ready to order. And if you have problems, you can always call our support team, the support number on the website, and they're always happy to help. So that's all I have. And Echo, thank you again. And
thank you. And just remember, eating well is a form of self-respect. and a form of not mistreating you.
Thank you. That's powerful. It is. It speaks to the heart. So thank you, Echo. And gonna tell all of you guys goodbye and thank you, Heather, thank you, Angel, thank you, everybody on this call that stayed with us. Thank you, all those on Facebook. Everybody have a great afternoon and take care. Have a great rest of your week. We won't be back next week because I'll be in New Orleans for WLSFA, which is a conference to raise money for surgeries, for bariatric surgeries. But I will be back the following week. I also have a support group this week on habit changing. So